Hi everyone, my name is Angelique and I am a regional theater actor. I know I haven't posted a video in about 6 weeks, and that's because we are in the middle of audition season, especially for summer stock Shakespeare companies, my favorites. But then I thought, how many of you all are in the middle of that same journey, that same stressful time? So, for those of you in the middle of audition season for professional theater, community theater, college auditions, your high school spring show, and more, and for those of you who just want to learn more about what it's like being an actor, I wanted to create a video on how to find the perfect Shakespeare monologue for you. Most actors, with the exception of some musical theater actors, will need to have at least one Shakespeare monologue in their audition book. And that's because in America, William Shakespeare is the most produced playwright of all time. In fact, in the 2019-2020 season, his plays were produced professionally 79 times. He is so produced that in the American theater top 20 list of most produced playwrights every year, he's excluded. Because if he was included, he would be #1 every single year. That same year, the #1 playwright, Lauren Gunderson, her plays were produced professionally 33 times, which is still a feat, mind you, but his plays were produced more than 2 times as much. And because of that, it is a necessity for any actor to have a Shakespeare monologue in their repertoire. But how do you find one? Step 1, decide if you want to do a comedic or dramatic monologue. Just that one decision will help narrow down so many monologues for you. And that's because Shakespeare's plays are traditionally divided into 3 different categories: comedies, tragedies, and histories. If you're interested in doing a comedic monologue, you should look towards his comedies, like A Midsummer Night's Dream or As You Like It. If you're more interested in the dramatic flair, you look towards his tragedies like Hamlet, Macbeth, or Titus Andronicus. Now, you may be able to find comedic monologues in his tragedies like Mercutio's monologue in Romeo and Juliet, or dramatic monologues in his comedies like Posthumus's Curse Women monologue in Cymbeline. But sticking to this general rule, especially for people new to Shakespeare, will help you find the monologue that's right for you. Now, because I know you are going to ask, Angelique, what about the histories? I'm going to very briefly talk about them. William Shakespeare's histories are, in my opinion, the perfect combination of comedy and drama. In fact, one of William Shakespeare's most famous clown characters, Falstaff, was created for his history plays. But because of that, it might be very difficult to tell whether a monologue you find in a history is comedic or dramatic. I vividly remember a friend of mine performing one of Henry V's monologues as if he was telling a story in front of his friends in the fire, without realizing the circumstances of the play or the war that they were in. Doing a history monologue involves doing a lot more research to ensure that you are telling the story that Shakespeare intended. And because of that, especially for people new to Shakespeare, it is a great idea to start with his comedies or his tragedies, plays with very clear messages. Step 2, figure out what your type is. Now, I know as actors we say we can play anything and do anything, but figuring out your type, your casting type, which means how people perceive you, will help you find the right monologues for you, the monologues that you really connect with, and the monologues that people are more likely to enjoy because they see you more easily as those characters. But what are the possible casting types in Shakespeare? Well, #1, the male and female ingenues, the young lovers. Now, their stories can be about a multitude of different things, but they mainly revolve around love. Juliet, for example, is incredibly smart, but her story revolves around her love for Romeo. Performing ingenue monologues involves an openness and a vulnerability that is very difficult to achieve, but when done right, is truly wonderful to watch. #2 are the male and female leads, the protagonists to the stories. Their stories can be about love, but is often about more than just that. Think about Hamlet. Yes, he is in love with Ophelia, but his story isn't really about that, is it? Or maybe I'm just reading it wrong. They are the point of view that we follow throughout the entire play. They are the journey that we go on. So if you're interested in doing those problem-solving soliloquies, well, then the male and female leads are the right casting type for you. Number 3, the antagonists, the villains. These are the characters lurking in the background. Although, for some plays, like Macbeth or Richard III, the villains are the protagonists to their story. These are sinister, powerful, intelligent, and brutal figures. There's an intense energy to these characters that is unmatched. They take up space, regardless of how big or how tall they are. If you think you have that energy, well, then villains are right for you. The 4th casting type is the mentor or the best friend role. Now, not every Shakespeare play has a character like this, but most do, and some have more than one. This is the Horatio in Hamlet, the Benvolio or Friar Lawrence in Romeo and Juliet. These characters often offer guidance and assistance to the ingenues and the protagonists. They are sturdy, loyal, and fiercely protective of the people that they love. These characters often have monologues to other people offering guidance, assistance, and sometimes even defense and protection of the characters that they love so much. The 5th and final casting type I'm going to talk about is the clown or the fool character. If you're interested in comedy, this is the type for you. Most Shakespeare plays, even the tragedies, have at least one scene with a clown character. These characters are used to provide comedic relief and sometimes commentary on the situations in the play. They're often the smartest characters in the plays that they're in. And if you want to show off your comedic chops, well, this is the right casting type for you. And there you have it. That's a list of 5 casting types in Shakespeare. Now, this list is not exhaustive. There are plenty of other types and tropes in Shakespeare that I could have included in this list, but chose not to, unless you wanted this video to be about 30 minutes. But using this list will help you to narrow down monologues that are right for you. You can use this list to find characters that fit those tropes that you are most interested in, and then find monologues for those characters. But once you've found those monologues, then what? So, let's say you found 5 monologues that fit your type. Let's say your type is clown and you found a Touchstone monologue, a Feste monologue, a Dogberry monologue, a Puck monologue, and a Falstaff monologue. All 5. Now what? Now it's important to see if the monologue is in verse or prose, which pretty much means, is the monologue in iambic pentameter or isn't it? And that's important because most of the time, when casting directors are asking to see a Shakespeare monologue, they're asking to see, do you know iambic pentameter? Do you understand it? Can you perform it? And that's why, especially for your first Shakespeare monologue, you should make sure that it is in verse. But how do you do that? Now, I could tell you to go through each monologue and make sure that each line is 10 syllables long, but that's a lot of work, especially for monologues that you might not perform. So here is this easy tip. Prose monologues, they usually are all in one big block of text. Whereas verse monologues, which are the monologues in iambic pentameter, they usually go separate line by line, with each line beginning with a capital letter. So if you can go look through your monologue very quickly and see that each line at the beginning starts with a capital letter, well, that monologue is in verse. If not, then it's in prose, and that helps you narrow down your choices even more. And now, the final step to finding the right Shakespeare monologue for you is reading them out loud. I know that sounds daunting because Shakespeare uses some words that you don't understand, and it's okay that you don't understand them right now. That comes later. You don't have to do the research right now. But reading them out loud will help you find the monologue that resonates with you. The monologue that makes you say, oh yeah, that feels like me. And that is so important because if it resonates with you, it will resonate with the people that you are in the room with. So read all of those monologues, read them out loud, and see which one you really connect with, which one gives you goosebumps. And that is the perfect monologue for you. Hopefully, using these 4 easy steps, you found the right monologue for you. And I can't wait to hear all about it in the comments below. And now that you found the right monologue, well, then what? How do you go from finding the right monologue to performing it? Well, that's something I'm going to have to talk about in another video, because this video is already way too long. But please like, comment, and subscribe, and tell me what more you want to see. Tell me what monologues you're performing, because I'm so excited to hear about them. But don't worry, I'll make sure to create videos about how to scan your monologue and how to bring this piece to life. But please like, comment, and subscribe to provide me your feedback. Let me know what you like, what you didn't like. Tell me about your monologues and your auditions and all of that stuff, because I can't wait to hear about them. And I'll see you guys soon.